that's dope, you know. So, you know, it was good sparring. It was very good experience for me.
Him, the way we focused on him.
The bigger guys training for this, how's that felt?
You said a
sparring the bigger guys.
Oh.
The anticipated clash between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez stands as one of boxing's most high-profile showdowns, uniting two of the sport's brightest stars. With an unblemished record of 41 wins and no losses, Crawford understands the risks tied to stepping in the ring with someone like Canelo and isn't ready to put his flawless legacy in jeopardy. To better equip himself for this challenge, Crawford has turned to fighters who've previously gone toe-to-toe with Canelo. Just weeks ago, he was seen training alongside Floyd Mayweather, a clear indication that he's taking serious measures to be fully prepared for the monumental fight. This partnership highlights Crawford's determination and his commitment to learning from the best in the business.
Can you fill in the blank? Triple G is blank.
Si puedes terminarle la expresión. Triple G es, ¿qué dirías?
Recently, Crawford reached out to Gennady Triple G Golovkin for guidance, despite the fact that Canelo Alvarez defeated Golovkin twice in their three-fight saga. Their first bout remains one of the most debated outcomes in boxing history, with many still arguing that the draw was unfair. Golovkin managed to outland Canelo in 10 out of 12 rounds, yet the judges ruled the contest even. That controversial verdict set the tone for the remaining two fights, in which Canelo ultimately proved his dominance. Even with that storied rivalry, Crawford is turning to Golovkin for critical insight as he braces for the tough task ahead with Canelo.
I mean, you don't have to give details. I know you guys are competitive, but what was that sparring like? Fight fans want to know. It was dope. It was dope. It was dope. I appreciate it.
Crawford is particularly interested in learning how Golovkin managed to frustrate and challenge Canelo Alvarez during their drawn contest. His relationship with Golovkin started after speculation about a possible fight between the two emerged last year. But the first thing Triple G taught Crawford wasn't related to fight tactics, it was a lesson about the brute force of Canelo's punches. Golovkin's first-hand experience in the ring with Canelo has given Crawford valuable knowledge, especially about the raw power Canelo possesses, which is something Crawford must factor into his strategy.
For even, giving me the opportunity to step in the ring with him, I could say that.
Perhaps the most powerful shot landed in the entire Canelo-Golovkin trilogy came during their first meeting, when Canelo connected cleanly with a heavy right hand in round 9. Golovkin later spoke to DAZN about how that punch felt, and his account might be very relevant for Crawford. "I remember the punch. I let it through, but I'm not sure how to describe it. It wasn't hard, it kind of felt like a slap, or maybe a sliding shot," Golovkin said. Even though he downplayed the impact, his comments might instill even greater confidence in Crawford as he gears up for what could be the defining fight of his career.
Jake Paul's in town, you guys gonna get dinner?
I don't think so.
Maybe next time.
Canelo, can you fill in the blank for me? Triple G is blank.
Beyond just conversations, Crawford also took part in a light sparring session with Gennady Golovkin, similar to his recent training exchange with Floyd Mayweather. When rumors swirled about a potential Crawford vs. Golovkin fight, many questioned its plausibility. In boxing, not every dream match becomes reality. That seemed to be the case with the rumored mega-bout between former undisputed welterweight champion Terence Crawford and former super middleweight champion Gennady Golovkin. Still, whispers emerged that Crawford's team had been seriously evaluating the option.
Да, потому что я скажу так, наверное, во мне вот эта вот страсть к боксу еще пока не остыла. В данный момент у меня 3 пояса в 160, мне надо решать свои вопросы.
Though now 42, Gennady Golovkin never formally retired from boxing. But following his second career defeat to Canelo in 2022, he has not returned to the ring. Instead, Golovkin took on a leadership role as head of Kazakhstan's Olympic Committee, casting further doubt on any comeback. Nonetheless, recent speculation on social media hinted at a 2025 fight between Golovkin and Crawford, allegedly driven by interest from Saudi promoters. Fight Hub TV picked up on the buzz and even polled fans about it. The rumors drew a swift reaction from a Saudi royal advisor, who commented directly to shut down the speculation. "Not truth," he wrote, clearly stating that no such fight is in the works.
Ну, я думаю, даже скажу, может быть, немножко громко, я неплохо себя чувствовал, и если вы видели, как
Even after the rumors of a Crawford-Golovkin fight were officially dismissed, boxing fans continued to imagine the hypothetical matchup. Despite Golovkin appearing retired, his fan base online remains fiercely loyal. One fan asserted that Triple G likely still packs a punch, saying, "At 160, Triple G may be slower, but I'm sure the power is still there." Others weren't so convinced, pointing out his current physical state. One remarked, "Have people seen Triple G lately? He looks done, like he hasn't sparred or done a 6-mile run in 2 years." Still, Golovkin himself has dropped subtle hints during interviews that suggest he hasn't fully closed the door on a return.
В принципе, даже не пропускал и не устал. То есть я показал, что есть силы, чему я очень рад.
Another fan chimed in with a bold prediction: Crawford won't step in the ring for this one. Triple G will stop him in under 7 rounds. They emphasized that Crawford has only gone the distance once in his last 12 fights, proving he's far from an easy opponent. But they also held the belief that in his prime, Golovkin would have handily beaten Crawford. Triple G's knockout power during his peak was legendary, with 42 wins and 37 knockouts earning him a reputation as one of the sport's most dangerous punchers.
Где бы я бы ни находился, я, конечно, буду думать о том, как.
Adding to the debate was the issue of weight. Many believe that Crawford's recent move up in weight wouldn't favor him in a bout with Golovkin. One fan expressed confusion over the potential matchup, saying, "Shake my head, Terence might need to hang it up, there's no one left for him to fight. They're just pulling names out of a hat." But that's not quite accurate. Rising star Jaron Boutsenis has publicly called for a fight with Crawford, although Crawford has declined so far. Another fan remained intrigued by the idea of old Triple G versus Crawford, pointing out that both are highly skilled, elite fighters. Sadly, in boxing, some dream fights remain just that, dreams, no matter how much the fans want to see them.
Pocos huevos.
Which brings us to the present day, where earlier reports suggested His Excellency Turki Alilshik was eyeing a blockbuster event between former undisputed welterweight champion Terence Crawford and former super middleweight champion Gennady Golovkin. Though that fantasy matchup never happened, Crawford eventually secured the long-awaited bout with Canelo Alvarez. It marks a huge moment for both men. Crawford has faced elite names like Errol Spence Jr., Sean Porter, and Amir Khan, while Canelo has shared the ring with boxing royalty Floyd Mayweather, Miguel Cotto, Shane Mosley, and Sergey Kovalev. Notably, 3 of his most heated fights were against none other than Golovkin. Their rivalry began in September 2017 with a hotly contested draw, a result that many still argue Golovkin should have won.
We don't know. You know, we know he's capable of a lot of things, but you know, we're not going to overlook anything, and that's why we prepare the way we prepare and focus on.
A rematch took place a year later, where Canelo earned a close decision win on points. The trilogy's final chapter in 2022 proved to be the most definitive, with Alvarez securing a more convincing points victory. Recently, Canelo signed a major 4-fight contract with Riyadh Season, the first of which is scheduled for May 3, where he'll face IBF super middleweight champion William School in an attempt to reclaim his status as undisputed super middleweight champion. One man who has intimate knowledge of preparing a fighter to face Canelo is Abel Sanchez, the trainer who guided Gennady Golovkin in his 2017 and 2018 fights against the Mexican superstar. In an interview with KO Artist Sports, Sanchez cast doubt on Terence Crawford's chances against Canelo, pointing to Crawford's weight disadvantage as a key issue.
I spar bigger guys.
Yeah.
I never spar nobody my size, so that's nothing.
Okay, guys, thank you.
So super middleweight wouldn't be a problem, right?
Nope.
Thank you, Terence. Appreciate it.
That's a ridiculous fight, Abel Sanchez stated. I've said it before, Crawford is a great fighter, no doubt, but he hasn't adapted as he's moved from 135 to 147. There's been no evolution in his style to make him more effective at higher weights, while Canelo has grown. Crawford's not destroying opponents, he beat a guy who was a shadow of himself. Meanwhile, Canelo is smashing through everybody. Crawford isn't doing that. Sure, the fight would bring in a lot of money, but it's not a legitimate contest. Likewise, former 2-division world champion Andre Ward recently gave his thoughts on a possible showdown between Saul Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford.
I can bet the house on, but because me and him
Terence Crawford has had his sights set on Canelo ever since his dominant performance against Errol Spence Jr. last year. Though Canelo initially rejected the idea, he has since admitted he'd consider defending his super middleweight belts against the smaller Crawford if the financial deal made sense. On the All the Smoke podcast, former undefeated champ Andre Ward, who retired 32-0, revealed the two fights he's most eager to see. "I want Canelo to fight either Terence Crawford or David Benavidez," Ward said. "You've got two paths: fight a guy your own size, or pick on the smaller one in Crawford."
We so much alike in our mentality. Like soon as I see this dude, he come in the room or I come in the room, we start arguing about basketball.
If a bout between Crawford and Canelo were to happen, Andre Ward says he'd put his faith in the fighter jumping up 3 divisions. "Right now, I'm not betting against Terence. Against anyone," Ward stated. He praised Crawford's mindset, calling him one of the most skilled boxers active today. "Crawford's built differently," he said. "We share a similar mentality. He's sharp in the ring, but it's his heart and mind that really set him apart. Most guys talk a big game, but the moment they're in a real fight, they fall apart. I'm not saying Crawford should be the favorite, but it's a 50-50 matchup. We won't know until it happens."
Wrestling, anything, bro. Like, man, you can't, man, you looking small. What you mean I'm looking small? You looking small. Like, it's just that, like, you gotta really hurt that dude.
Shakur Stevenson agrees Crawford is cut from a different cloth. "He's a dog," Stevenson said, pointing to Crawford's relentless spirit and clutch performances. Calling Crawford his big brother, Stevenson firmly believes Crawford would beat Canelo, despite the 14-pound weight gap. Canelo, unlike Charlo, has expressed doubts about facing Crawford due to that size difference, but Stevenson isn't bothered. He insists that size doesn't win fights, skills do. According to him, Crawford's southpaw stance, fluid movement, and tight fundamentals would present real problems for Canelo and ultimately tilt the fight in Crawford's favor.
Like I said, I've been saying this, I don't think size win fights, I think skills do. Yeah, I think like being a southpaw with good movement and sharp boxing, it'd be hard for Canelo with that high guard to walk him down and load up on them big hooks. I think Bud would be Canelo.
In an interview with IFL TV, Shakur Stevenson spoke about what lies ahead for Crawford and praised his current dominance. "He's in control of everything right now," Stevenson said. When asked who he thinks Crawford should fight next, he named Jermall Charlo, though Charlo is already lined up to face Canelo. Still, Stevenson thinks Crawford could beat Canelo, citing his technical advantages. "He's a southpaw, moves well, hard to hit clean. That makes it tough for Canelo to land those big hooks," Stevenson noted. "I wish Charlo wasn't the one fighting him, but that's how it is. In my view, size doesn't win fights, skills do. Crawford has the skills."
Who knows?
That smile's telling me something else, bro. I think it might be on the line, no?
I'm just saying, man, we can't say it's not gonna happen. We can't say that it.
A potential Terence Crawford vs. Canelo Alvarez fight is one of the most buzzed about matchups in the sport today, and with Saudi Arabia becoming increasingly involved in big boxing events, the chances seem to be rising. Trainer Robert Garcia discussed the advantages Canelo would bring into that fight while commenting on Crawford's current status. Garcia emphasized that if Crawford doesn't land the fight with Canelo soon, he might choose to walk away from the sport altogether.
Because the way Crawford is doing it is because he knows it's the biggest payday in his life, and he'll never, maybe what he could get against Canelo, he's never made in all his fights combined.
Crawford's a smart guy, he's already checked off every box, Garcia told Fight Hype. He's done what he needed to do in boxing and doesn't owe anyone anything. I've talked to him myself, and it's clear he really wants this Canelo fight. If he doesn't get it, he might not fight again. Garcia also named other potential opponents for Crawford, including Jermall Charlo, Virgil Ortiz Jr., Sergey Bohachuk, and Xander Zayas.
Of course, why would he call up Benavidez when he's calling out Canelo knowing that he's going to make double the money?
Because he wants to fight at 68, that's why.
So that's why.
To Garcia, Terence Crawford has already proven everything. With an undefeated record and a legendary resume, there's no need for him to chase fights for fan approval. He's not the type to fight just to make people happy, Garcia said. If it was about the money, he wouldn't even need to step into the ring again. He's invested smartly and is financially secure. According to Garcia, the only reason Crawford would continue is to fight Canelo and end his career with a bang. He's intelligent with his money. He doesn't need to fight. But if the Canelo opportunity comes up, he'll take it. If not, this could be the end.
You know why? He wants to make the biggest fucking payday.
Does he have a chance in the fight?
Everybody has a chance, but I think he'll put up some good rounds. I think he loses to Canelo, but he'll put up good rounds. Better than Charlo did.
Should the Canelo-Crawford fight actually happen, Robert Garcia believes Crawford can compete well for the first half of the bout and earn respect from both Canelo and fans. I think Crawford could put on a good showing, Garcia said. The first 6 to 8 rounds would be close. Crawford's got speed, power, and skills enough to make Canelo respect him. Still, Garcia believes the size and physicality of Alvarez would eventually overwhelm him. Despite this, he sees the opening rounds being thrilling. Those first 6 rounds? That would be high-level boxing and exciting as hell.
Crawford, Canelo.
He'll fight. He'll probably get stopped and get knocked out, but he'll put up some good rounds. Yeah, but he'll put up.
As it stands, the dream matchup between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford remains just an idea, largely due to one major hurdle. And this challenge goes beyond the expected financial negotiations. It's something even a career-high payday might not resolve. Canelo may refuse to budge no matter how big the offer is. Ryan Garcia didn't hold back when asked about a potential fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, making his opinion clear. In a bold interview, Garcia referred to Crawford as an overhyped bum and insisted that Canelo would win easily if they ever shared a ring. Speaking with C's TV, Garcia ripped into Crawford, calling him a boring fighter who doesn't deserve the hype and accusing him of stealing boxing's money.
Other than Errol Spence Jr. that went through a car crash. Name one guy that he beat other than Errol Spence that's well known. Sean Porter that was from Wash. Who has he beat? He hasn't beat nobody, bro. He's not gonna beat nobody, bro. Terence Crawford.
Despite being banned for doping, Ryan Garcia went so far as to challenge Crawford directly, saying, "Come see me in the ring if you think I'm talking nonsense." His fiery remarks come while he's still serving a suspension for failing a drug test earlier this year. Even with his current controversies, Garcia remained firm in his stance and openly called Crawford out for a fight, challenging him to back up his reputation.
Bro, Terence Crawford is not no, he ain't like that, bro. Terence Crawford is an overhyped bum, bro. I'm sorry. Somebody gotta say it. You're an overhyped bum, bro. I'm looking at the camera right now. You suck, bro.
Terence Crawford isn't that guy, Garcia said bluntly during his C's TV appearance. He's overrated, plain and simple. Somebody has to say it, you're just an overhyped bum. I'm looking dead at the camera. You suck, bro. Stop acting like you're something special. Stop robbing the sport of its money and wasting people's time. You're boring to watch. If you think I'm wrong, come face me in the ring. I'll fight you anytime. Even with all the trash talk, Garcia still seemed open to making the fight happen someday, saying, "I could definitely see that fight happening." What do you mean?
Like that. Stop stealing boxing money. You're wasting everybody's money. You're not entertaining, bro. You're boring as. Come see me in the ring if you think I'm talking shit. I can do it anytime. You think you can see Crawford? I can definitely see Crawford, bro. What do you mean? Bro, I've seen many fighters like him too. He's not that good, bro. He gets hit a lot, bro. He gets wobbled, hit, bro. He's not untouchable, bro. You act like he's Mayweather.
I was one of the top amateurs, and so was he. I've seen his type before. I don't care if he slips my left hook, I'll land it somehow. He's not untouchable, he gets hit often and he's been wobbled, Garcia continued. He's not as good as people make him out to be. If a Garcia versus Crawford bout were to happen, it would likely be at a catch weight. Garcia has never competed at the 147-pound welterweight mark or higher, while Crawford hasn't fought at 140 since 2017. Following his positive drug test after fighting Devin Haney, Garcia has stayed in the headlines by undermining other fighters' achievements.
I don't think that he's not a great fighter, but I don't think he's as good as people say. He's not like a Sugar Ray Leonard, you know, not Tommy Hearn. You can't do that because he's not like that, bro. He hasn't fought nobody that has firepower like him.
Now, Ryan Garcia has his eyes on Terence Crawford, who's chasing a 2025 mega fight with Canelo Alvarez, about Canelo still hasn't agreed to. Garcia claims he's already called Crawford to propose a fight, aiming to prove that Crawford is overrated, and teasing a massive payday in the process. "I called him already. He's trying to land that fight with Canelo, but I don't think it's going to happen," Garcia said. When asked whether he's ever been in with someone who hits like Crawford, Garcia responded, "No, and that's exactly why I think Bud is overrated."
Who would win, him or Boots?
I like Boots. In my opinion, I like Boots. I don't think Crawford could keep up with somebody that talented and young and fast. I haven't even seen him fight somebody talented.
If you enjoyed the fight, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more knockout content only on Knuckle Forge.